Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Journeys with Jay. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. I hope you enjoyed the journey with me today. If you're not, thanks so much for tagging along with me once again. For today's Journey with Jay, we're at the incredible London Science Museum located in South Kensington, London. It is one of the three major museums on Exhibition Road and attracts nearly 2.7 million visitors annually. Admission to the museum is free and pre-booking your online ticket is recommended. On today's journey, we'll be exploring the ground floor, which is packed with amazing exhibits showcasing the wonders of science, technology, and innovation. We'll view three exhibit spaces: the fascinating Energy Hall, the awe-inspiring Space Exhibition, and a trip down memory lane with the Making of the Modern World exhibit. Now, if you're in your late 30s or older, be sure to stick around to the end of the video to see which pieces of technology that we grew up with are now museum artifacts. Let's go. Our first stop is the Energy Hall, which highlights the incredible advancements in energy production through history. Check out these massive steam engines. These beauties powered the Industrial Revolution and transformed how we live and work. Fun fact, some of these engines are still operational and are fired up occasionally for live demonstrations. Unfortunately, the museum is very full today, so I didn't get to do the amount of recording I wanted to do. Quickly went on to the Exploring Space exhibit, where visitors of all ages spent most of their time. From models of satellites to real pieces of space equipment, this area celebrates humanity's journeys to the stars. Suspended from the ceiling are two real space rockets, a British Black Arrow and a United States Scout. Britain developed the Black Arrow in the 1960s as its national satellite launcher. The Black Arrow rocket holds the distinction of being the UK's only satellite launch vehicle to successfully place a satellite into orbit. Exhibited here is a Black Arrow R4, the final rocket built in the series. It was never launched due to the program's cancellation. Developed by the United States in the late 1950s, the Scout was a launch vehicle designed to deliver small payloads into orbit. Museum of the Moon is a touring art installation featuring a detailed, internally illuminated 23-foot diameter replica of the Moon. Here's a replica of the Hubble Space Telescope. This instrument has captured some of the most stunning images of the universe, helping scientists uncover the mysteries of distant galaxies. This is a full-size replica of the Huygens Titan lander from the European Space Agency, which successfully landed on Saturn's largest moon, Titan, in 2005. Coming into view is a full-size replica of Ego, the lander that took astronauts Armstrong and Aldrin to the moon in 1969, two of just 12 people who have visited the moon. The space age began in 1957 when the Soviet Union launched its Sputnik with a converted R-7 ballistic missile. Russia's Soyuz rockets are derived from that same missile and continue to launch spacecraft and astronauts into space today. Saturn V was a powerful three-stage rocket used in the Apollo moon program, the tallest and heaviest rocket of its time to reach operational status. The Saturn V relied on multiple engines like the J2 engine shown here in different stages to give it its thrust needed. This component was part of the Black Knight research program, which aimed to test re-entry vehicles. The Black Knight program conducted multiple launches between 1958 and 1961, providing valuable data on re-entry dynamics and materials. Shown is the Soyuz descent module that returned British astronaut Tim Peake from the International Space Station in June 2016. The Soyuz module is part of the historic space exploration effort by Russia's Soyuz program. The spacecraft serves as a crucial means of crew transportation to and from the International Space Station, being in use since the early days of space exploration in the 1960s. The descent module is the final section of the spacecraft that makes a controlled re-entry into Earth's atmosphere. Now we're stepping into the making of the Modern World Gallery. This exhibit is packed with objects that have changed the course of history, highlighting the incredible progress humanity has made over the last 250 years, and is like a time capsule. Enlightenment thinkers believe that the new science and the use of reason could change the world for the better. Over 2 centuries later, our lives are still marked by the impact of this idea, although today the hope behind it is increasingly being questioned. From Enlightenment to apprehension, each period has thrown up particular responses to the impact of technology. These 9 areas review successively some of the key historical issues in each period and also convey to us a glimpse of the spirit of each age and how it viewed science, production, the new machines, and technology. Feel free to pause the video at any point in time if you need some extra time to finish reading what's on the screen. This section acknowledges the contribution of persons like Francis Bacon, Benjamin Franklin, and Isaac Newton, who argued that understanding the natural world should be based on observation, experimentation, and measurement, rather than just tradition. Scientists in this era developed powerful explanations for phenomena in the natural world. These studies went beyond just natural scientific curiosity, but also exploring how this new knowledge could be beneficial to society as a whole. It was E. Darwin who argued that experimental philosophy, by introducing the world to think and reason, will overturn the empire of superstition. Now, in this age of conspiracy theories, not so sure that we still agree with that. Imagine here with me for a bit. Industrialization caused unprecedented changes in the way goods were made, and it also transformed how and where people lived. Factory workers fled rural poverty in exchange for living in villages or towns. These changes in technology brought more workers into factories and caused the development of towns as new forms of infrastructure, including rail, water, and sewage, were introduced. The rapid urban population growth also brought a rise in diseases. Choosing appropriate responses to these new medical crises also had to be explored by medical experts to use when people got sick. With our advancement in technology, sometimes we forget how far we've come to have a machine to make something as simple as we would say as a block. It's groundbreaking back then. So this section explores the growth and development of standard scientific measurement and their instruments, because we can appreciate that everywhere the same measurement may not exactly be the same. Now this is kind of controversial because this is kind of in the modern era, so to speak, because we know ancient civilizations had their own way of measurements that may not have been scientific back then, but we know, for example, the Egyptians and the pyramids and so on. So think about it in this area. Not only are you dealing with the measurement of domestic quantities, so for example, you're measuring maybe oil or food or flour or grain, but you have persons in boats all over the world exploring the world with very limited scientific measurements at that time. So this growth and this development was very, very timely and very, very important. Measurement extended into many fields during the 18th century, becoming a core element of the Enlightenment period. It is because of the Enlightenment era and measurement and this detailed record keeping that we have this record of Earth's history. Of course, as we say, money makes the world go round. Economic interests drove the desire for better standards of weights and measures. Overseas trade and British naval power required more accurate instruments, especially for the military, and the taxation of alcohol led to a new family of instruments. The development of insurance provided a reason to collect mortality records and calculate life expectancy. At the Great Exhibition in 1851, the machine tools, and particularly the working section, Machinery in Motion, created a strong impression. The machinery was seen as a direct source of Britain's prosperity, but it was also, as the Times newspaper and Queen Victoria independently remarked, beautiful. The development of machine tools, machines for making machines, was central to 19th century engineering. These tools for cutting or shaping metal improved in power and accuracy throughout this period. So similarly to how we view robots and AI making the world so much easier for us, imagine how the invention of these machines made the world so much better, especially with the Industrial Revolution. Puffing Billy, circa 1814, is the oldest surviving steam railway locomotive in the world. Rather than carrying passengers, it hauled coal trains at little more than walking pace along a 5-mile stretch of railway. The coal was loaded onto ships for transport around the coast. William Hedley designed and built Puffing Billy after carrying out a series of experiments which showed that the friction between a smooth wheel and a smooth rail was sufficient to allow locomotives to haul loads. Grand Junction Railway locomotive Columbine 1845. Columbine was one of a series of locomotives built to a standard design, replacing a number of locomotives by different makers. Columbine ran on the Grand Junction Railway, Britain's first trunk railway, when it opened in 1837. At this crucial time for railway development between 1844 and 1847, so many railway proposals were accepted by Parliament that the basic national network known today was completed by 1850. The Avro 504 series, developed by the British aircraft manufacturer Avro and Company, was among the most produced aircraft during World War I, with over 8,000 units built. The Lockheed Electra 10A was among the first aircraft to feature a fully retractable landing gear and pressurized cabin, setting new standards for passenger comfort and operational efficiency. Its design influenced the development of subsequent airliners, including the Lockheed Constellation series. The Ford Model T, introduced in 1908, was designed as an affordable, reliable, and easy-to-maintain vehicle, making car ownership accessible to a broader segment of the population. By 1927, over 15 million units had been produced, making it one of the best-selling cars of its era. The Fordham F1 was among the first lorries to be powered by a diesel engine. This is an example of one of the earliest iron lungs or cabinet respirators. Iron lungs were originally developed to treat people affected by gas inhalation after accidents in their homes. Iron lungs were also used extensively to treat patients whose chest muscles were paralyzed from diseases such as polio. Patients were encased in the large, heavy cabinet with only their heads outside. Air at alternating pressures was pumped into the chamber, causing the lungs to inflate and deflate so the person could breathe. The V-2 rocket, developed by Nazi Germany during World War II, is recognized as the world's first long-range guided ballistic missile. This distinctive exhibit showcases a series of stacked cars highlighting the evolution of automotive design and engineering over the years. Jet 1 was the first car to be powered by a gas turbine engine, a technology more commonly associated with aircraft at the time. This dental unit helped to improve the state of the teeth of the British citizens between 1946 and 1955. The EMI scanner produced detailed pictures of patients' brains for the first time. Using a technique called computerized tomography, or CT, from a series of thousands of measurements, usually using an X-ray source and a detector rotating around the patient's head. Previously, X-rays could only image the brain after hazardous injections of air or liquids. The post-war period saw an enormous variety of designs intended to offer popular, low-cost motoring in austere economic conditions. Many 3- and 4-wheeled microcars were produced using diverse body styles and engineering solutions, but the two shown here represent the most successful and best-known types. Motorcycle manufacturers were also forced to consider new economy models. Here we are at one of the most transformative innovations in modern medicine, the MRI machine. This machine revolutionized the way we look inside the human body, providing incredibly detailed images without the need for invasive procedures. Launched in May 1969, Apollo 10 carried astronauts and orbited the moon, testing all procedures and components in preparation for the subsequent Apollo 11 landing. The command module, shown here, Charlie Brown, was the only part of the spacecraft to return to Earth, splashing down in the Pacific Ocean. Seymour Cray founded the high-performance computing industry with machines like this, the 1976 Cray 1A. Its cylindrical shape kept wires short so signals arrived at their destinations sooner. With cooling and pioneering processing systems, the machine achieved then unrivaled operating speeds. In the past, recording information-packed television signals was no mean feat. In 1953, the Recording Corporation of America demonstrated an experimental videotape recorder, which required 1.5 miles of tape to record just 4 minutes of television. The Ampex video recorder, invented in 1956, overcame the problem and started a television revolution. So this is where it started to feel old. How many of these artifacts now in the museum do you recognize from your childhood or early teens? Let me know in the comments. Check out these typewriters, these PCs. Wow. We have some of the earliest commercially available mobile phones, released as early as 1983, known as brick phones. Some of them weighed almost 2 pounds and had a battery life of about 30 minutes. So this is part 1 of a 3-part series exploring the London Science Museum. If this is your first journey with Jay, I hope you enjoyed tagging along with me. Thanks for watching to the end. Please give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and leave a comment in the comment section. If you enjoyed it so much that you want to subscribe and see more from me, go ahead and do that right now. If you're not new here, thanks so much for tagging along with me once again on another Journeys with Jay. Until next time, keep safe, God bless. It's your boy Saint Jay, out of here.